One Piece manga chapter 924. Epicness at its very highest. Again, Oda is the master of hype. Now this chapter was amazing. Even though this was the concluding chapter of this portion of Wano, we got a lot of information in these 14 pages. Again, the general consensus of what we thought was going to happen in this chapter was that either Luffy was going to get captured or he was going to get rescued by Shuten or Law. Now in this case, Luffy got captured, and him getting captured is one of the best things Oda could do because this is going to lead way to one of the other top ranked Supernova. Again, I'm excited to see how these two are going to interact because this is technically their first encounter in the new world. Plus, ever since pre-timeskip, Oda has pushed the idea of Luffy, Law, and Kid being the most prominent out of the worst generation. And with this, an alliance is definitely happening. This will definitely give the Straw Hats more firepower to go up against Kaido and the Shogun. And this isn't just any Supernova. Kid is arguably right behind Luffy in terms of strength. Plus, he has Killer as a right hand. This is definitely great news for the alliance, and hopefully get more characterization for Kid. We had it with Law and Dressrosa. I think Wano is going to be for Kid, so that's going to be amazing moving forward. I mean, if we take Luffy and Law's alliance, that was big news in the new world. If we're going to add Kid into that equation and potentially more individuals from the worst generation, you guys know what time it is. The possibilities and the potential of this arc is astronomical right now, but let's start from the beginning. Now, starting off with Luffy and Kaido. Now, Luffy was knocked out from Kaido's attack like we all expected. Even though he was out of commission, Kaido could still sense Luffy's spirit, which ultimately led to the fodder that were close by getting knocked out by his Conqueror's Haki, which was used instinctively. Now, it's kind of interesting here that Kaido wants to improve his military might by incorporating Luffy into his crew. We've seen that he doesn't kill some individuals because he wants to recruit them because they're strong, perhaps in order to overcome the other Yonkos, as he does have the intention of making his crew the strongest. Now, Law did try to step in, but was ultimately stopped by Hawkins with sea stone nails, which was said to be only made in Wano, which is very interesting. Now, Kaido was actually quite perceptive in this chapter. He isn't all muscle like a lot of people think, and it was pretty composed, even though you'd get that crazy vibe off him. So the people that were saying that he made some sort of deal with Shanks 2 years ago could be right. That doesn't sound too far-fetched. Kaido isn't as wild as we thought he was. Now, we got two huge revelations in this chapter. The first one is that Oden has Conqueror's Haki just like Luffy, and this really says a lot about Roger because we know that there were at least 3 Conqueror's Haki users on Roger's crew, which is insane. And when you think about individuals that have Conquerors, these types of people would never be followers. But the fact that Rayleigh and Oden were serving on the Roger kind of says that Roger was a king above kings. He wasn't your typical King's Haki user. Now, the second revelation is that Kaido confirms that Kid has King's Haki, which I am so happy to hear about. Again, I've said this before. If there's anyone to have Conqueror's Haki apart from Luffy in the worst generation, it has to be Kid based on how he carries himself. I always parallel Kid with Shiki and Roger with Luffy. I personally think Kid is going to become one of Luffy's biggest rivals till the end of series. Again, the Kid slander needs to stop. Given the fact that he has Conqueror's Haki now, we know that Kid has a lot of potential, more so than any other Supernova that is in Luffy. I've always had Kid as the second strongest Supernova, and I think this validates my point even more. And we also got confirmation that Shuten is indeed a Shuro Doji. Again, very obvious. Now, Luffy did get captured and was taken to a prison cell right next to Kid, and basically we have both of them saying they're not gonna forgive Kaido. Now, that was just amazing to see. It's obvious that these two are gonna join hands since they have a common goal, but given as they both have Conquerors, there's definitely gonna be a clash of ideals. One's not gonna let the other be dominant. But I like where this is going because interactions between Supernova is definitely great to have, especially for someone like Kid. Given the fact that he was one of the highlighted Supernovas during Sabaody, it's only right to say that we were going to learn more about him sooner or later, and Wano is that time. And seeing everyone's reaction to Luffy getting caught was priceless, especially Robin, because that is a cursed image. I didn't actually think Oda would draw Robin with that expression. I guess you could say that Luffy never fails to surprise his crew. Now, if you guys notice on the last page, it basically says that Act 1 is finished. So basically what's going on here is that Wano is going to be separated into different sections. Now, shout out to my boy Sector on Twitter, but it seems like Wano is going to follow the same scheme of a play, whereas Wano is going to be separated in different acts. Now, it says here that nearly every full-length play occupies 5 acts. The first corresponds to Joe, an auspicious and slow opening, which introduces the audience to the character and plot, which should be the first section that just concluded in this chapter. The next 3 sections correspond to Ha, which was the title of this chapter, speeding of events, culminating always in great moments of drama and tragedy in the 3rd act. If someone's gonna die, this is where it's gonna happen. Then it says a fight usually happens in the 2nd or 4th act, which should be the main event and the fight against Kaido Kaido and the Shogun, and the final act corresponds to Q, which is always short, providing a quick and satisfying conclusion, which should be the end of Wano, and then maybe the transitional stuff from then on. But this is a cool way of doing things. This is definitely a first for Oda, most likely because he wants to make Wano unique from other arcs. But that is pretty much it for this video, guys. Now we are on break next week, but I think this was the perfect time for the break to happen. But where do you guys see this going? The Kid Luffy alliance? Comment down below what you guys think. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe for more One Piece content on this channel. It is Pharaoh, and I will see you folks later. Peace.